No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I know it's not Sunday. I decided to enjoy the rest of my vacation, but I'm back to give y'all week two recap. Week two recap. What a fun week two it was. I know Friday I went 0-2, struck out. Forgot to put my charger in, but it's here. It's right here. But struck out week two. But I think I did good Saturday. I think I did pretty good Saturday. Friday was, like I said, bad, man. A double overtime loss. Duke with an amazing game time drive in regulation. BYU out physical SMU badly. Just SMU, man. They just don't look as good as promised, as I thought they would be. But we'll get into that. So, fresh off of Unfazed, shout out Joe and AJ. They basically talked about week one in the NFL. They really, they got teams and MC, so they really had NFC topics. I ain't really show the AFC too much love, man. It's all good, though. We had the Refuse to Lose main show earlier. We had, I missed that one. I'm going to check it later, but that's featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave, but Tomo wasn't there today. I didn't know that. We do have BWT Baseball with Teddy. Tigers, man. 11-0 win tonight against the Rockies at home. Shout out Montero. Shout out Gang. Amazing game by him. Just amazing game overall by the Tigers. So far, I think we still are 3 games back of the wild card spot, but we're going to keep fighting. We got FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Week 1 in the fantasy football season is now over. So I would say look out for an episode by him soon. Probably going to give you some news and updates. We got some injuries. We might tell you who to start, who to try to go get. Seen Jordan Mason go crazy last night, 49ers. Shout out Dave. We got, speaking of Dave, Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. He had an episode earlier today around noon. I was at work, missed that, but he had an episode there. We have Indy Red Corner. Shout out to Ty, Ricky, and Tomo. They had an episode Sunday. I said in the Red Corner already. Real Ballers Only. That's what I was thinking about. Real Ballers Only featuring Vaughn. Haven't had an episode in a while. Maybe one shortly as the NBA season is coming upon us. All your NBA through there. We have Kings Talk with Joe Jordan. Joe said on Unfazed the Kings have started training camp. So he may come out with some updates, what he's been hearing, something like that. That may happen. But all your Kings Talk information through him. And last was, I already talked about Unfazed. So I think that's it. I think I got all the shows. But, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you like what you're listening to, stick with us. I'm going to plug my computer charger in real quick. And we're going to get into the week. That was week 2. So I kind of briefly, let me get into these comments real quick. Boom. All right, so Tomo says, mission failed. We'll get him next time. Chipotle. Hey, you see the name, Tomo? You see the name, Winter Wicked? I should have put chicken twice. Winter chicken dinner, because I like my Chipotle with double chicken. Yes, sir. So he's referring to the Chipotle Bowl, which honestly, we dubbed it the Chipotle Bowl, which was Maryland, Michigan State. That might have been the best game of the week. The hype matchups were kind of boring. Michigan, Texas stomped them. You had Colorado, Nebraska. Nebraska stomped them. I know the final score, they only won by 18. Man, they got dominated. Tennessee, NC State, 51-10, say less. What was another ranked matchup? Oh, I mean, you do got your upsets that might top it, like Northern Illinois upsets Notre Dame, so that might top it because the upset value and the MAC school comes into Notre Dame and beats Notre Dame, or like Kansas Illinois, that was a good one. It was an upset, so you might say that one topped it. Even though I don't think that was a better game. I think it was a good game, but I don't think it was the better game. But you had your low key game like Nevada, Georgia Southern. That was a good defensive struggle. That was a good game. Let's see. Any other game that possibly can compete? Oregon, Boise State. That was another fun one. That's the one I would probably say might have been better. The Oregon Boise State game might have been better. But let's get into these other comments. My boy Teddy said, "What up, Carl? Shout out Teddy, man. USC 2-0. I had a 1-1 around this time, so shout out to him. 2-0 for USC, excuse me. And then Tomo with the emojis because he's sick. You lucky. I forgot to ask Joe this. I was going to play the fight song. I was going to play the MSU fight song if it was going to be like non-copyrighted. I was going to ask to play that. You're lucky I forgot. It's all good. I might just drop it in the chat just for you. But let's get into these Friday night games. I forgot I did these banners, so I got to scroll back up. All right. So, forgot to name this one. Friday night recap. And we're going to first talk about the first game that came on, which was BMU, SMU. I said BMU. BYU, SMU. It's a little late, fellas. BYU ends up, I would say, upsetting SMU at home now in terms of BYU, SMU record. They're now 5-0 all time against SMU. But I thought this would be the year that SMU would finally beat BYU. But no. They lose 18-15. Oh man, we're gonna talk about what happened in the game, and then we're gonna get. I'm gonna get my thoughts. So, SMU starts with a 3-and-out punt. This drive was led by Preston Stone. Then BYU start with a Jack Retzlaff fumble, which leads to a 3-and-out punt. Again, that was Preston Stone. Then BYU scores a 16-yard Mateva Talasi touchdown catch, which was set up by Keelan Marion, 11-yard catch, and a roughing the passer. Then SMU turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Kevin Jennings passes incomplete, leads to a 3-and-out punt, which obviously that makes you to believe that Kevin Jennings led that drive. Then SMU will score a 53-yard field goal in the next possession, and it was 6 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second quarter. SMU scores a 52-yard field goal. Now, Preston Stone did come in for drive number 5, did not look well, so Kevin Jennings would take over for the rest of the game. BYU 3-and-out punt, ball hits an SMU player. And then BYU recovers, and that leads to a turnover on downs, 4th and 1 for a 2-yard loss by Miles Davis, and that leads to a 38-yard field goal by SMU. Spoiler alert by the score, SMU kicked nothing but field goals the entire game, and I'm going to get into that later. BYU will miss a 55-yard field goal right before the half. Then they would start the second half with a Jack Retzlaff interception, which will lead to a 28-yard field goal. Then with 1:15 left in the third quarter, BYU scores a 9-yard Enoch Nawaheim touchdown run, which will lead to the 2-point conversion being good. Then Kevin Jennings will throw an interception, which will lead to a Jack Retzlaff interception, which will lead to a Brashad Smith fumble, which will lead to a 3-and-out punt. Then SMU will score a 45-yard field goal, and then BYU will score a 25-yard field goal. And then SMU, on a chance to either tie or win the game, turn the ball over 4th and 10. Kevin Jennings passes incomplete. And this, all right, so my thoughts on the game is this. BYU was clearly the more physical team. It wasn't even close. They out-physical SMU the entire game. Like I said, not even close. Was just beating up the offensive line, beating blocks, getting to the quarterback. Preston Stone, it wasn't his game because Kevin Jennings was the more mobile guy, so he was the one that's more able to extend plays and make plays with his legs. Preston Stone's an athlete too, but he's not as, in my opinion, as athletic as Kevin Jennings. So the BYU defenders were rattling him more. Kevin Jennings was able to make guys miss and make plays better than Preston Stone. Both teams had 3 turnovers. But here's the difference. SMU scored all field goals. And when I say that, they had 5 trips in the red zone. And those 5 trips in the red zone resulted in this: a fumble, a pick, a field goal, and a turnover on downs. You can't have that happen if you're a good football team. 5 trips to the red zone, no touchdowns. That's just not going to cut it. Another thing in the game, I just think at the end of the game, I think Kevin Jennings was kind of rattled. I think he kind of folded. He had a chance, I think, on 2nd and 10 to run, and he decided last minute to pull the trigger on the throw and like missed badly. That was on the drive to end the game where they didn't get that many yards. I don't know. I think late game, Kevin Jennings just didn't have it. SMU, in my opinion, they're not as good as I thought they would be. They're not as good as everyone thought them to be. I had them going 11-1. Don't see it. Obviously losing this game at home against BYU. This is the game they should have won. This is the game they could have won, and I think I don't even want to say the better team lost. I just think the more physical team won, and it wasn't SMU. It was BYU. It wasn't even close. And even the head coach, at the end of the game, he was like, man, everybody's talking about these offenses. I told you I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to defense, and he was right. It came down to defense. And BYU defense whooped SMU offense. We're going to the next game, which the next game was clearly about defense. But before that, 2 comments. Tomo says Colorado O-line upset Shedeur. Yeah, they didn't really have a good game at all. Still can't establish the run. We'll talk about that. And yeah, make sure you don't mess up that. Hold on, my bad. Teddy says, yeah, make sure you don't mess that up. UNC trash. I wouldn't say UNC is trash. I wouldn't. They shouldn't be 2-0. They escaped Minnesota, but I wouldn't say they trash. And I like Mac Brown. Shout out Mac Brown. Mac Brown's a great coach. Been doing it for a long time. We're going to last Friday game, Duke at Northwestern. So I picked SMU. Now I picked Duke, and I had Northwestern. And Northwestern had this game. They had it. And honestly, if you're Northwestern, they were in the position you want to be. You want to trust your defense to win you the game. They were up 7. Defense just didn't hold it. So we're going to talk about the game. Let me get my thoughts. Northwestern starts with a 44-yard field goal. Duke starts with a punt. Northwestern, Mike Wright throws an interception, which leads to a 16-yard Eli Pankow touchdown catch. With 7:29 left in the second quarter, Northwestern punts to Duke, which the punt returner muffed the ball, and it was recovered by Northwestern. And that leads to a 4-yard Cam Porter touchdown run. Duke starts the second half with a 3-and-out punt, and then the punt is blocked and recovered by Northwestern. And then they would start with a 29-yard field goal, which would be no good. And it leads to a Malik Murphy interception. And then that would lead to a Caleb Kumalafe fumble, which would lead to a 50-yard field goal. And then Duke on 4th and 2 passes drop, which would lead to a Northwestern 35-yard field goal. And then with 5:11 left in the fourth quarter, Duke would score a 33-yard field goal. No, they would miss a 33-yard field goal, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Oh, that's right. Northwestern was up 3 to end the game because Duke would kick a 21-yard field goal to tie it to send it to OT. It was 13-10. And then the overtime, Northwestern would start, and they would go down, and they would score a 10-yard Cam Porter touchdown run. But then Duke, the very first play of overtime, would score a 25-yard Jordan Moore touchdown catch. And then Duke in the second overtime would score a 4-yard Eli Pankow touchdown catch. But the 2-point would be no good. And then Northwestern to start to, as double OT. They would turn the ball over on downs, 4th and 9. Pass by Mike Wright is incomplete. Now, I want to talk about the end of the game real quick. Northwestern in double overtime went away from what was working. They went away from Cam Porter. Cam Porter in overtime shouldered the load to score a touchdown. Second OT, they put the ball in Mike Wright's hand, and it just did not go good. I don't know why they went away from Cam Porter. I think Cam Porter even got a first down in the second overtime, and they just went away from him. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why teams tend to do that. It makes no sense to me, but that was the difference. That's why they didn't score in double OT, in my opinion. They went away from Cam Porter, and it cost them the game. This was a defensive slugfest like I thought it would be. Now, I told you I'll take the under. I can't account for double overtime. The under was good all the way through. It was 13-10 throughout the majority of the second half. Then the overtime happens, and that's just how it goes. Under was just good money, then double OT, and now it's gone. But, yeah, Mike Wright. Gotta talk about Mike Wright. Mike Wright just made some bad decisions, missed some throws. Mike Wright, I think he tried to throw a pick twice, and Duke dropped him. Now, I do want to say this. Malik Murphy did throw a pick, and the guy that picked it off, I forgot who did it, But he caught the ball and like instantly threw the ball to Manny Diaz, Duke head coach. And I thought that was a 15-yard flag, and they didn't do anything. Like he just caught it and threw it to the coach. No flag, no nothing. We just keep it moving. That was kind of wild. But yeah, I think Northwestern kind of blew this game. I think I don't know, man. I don't know if they got to open up the competition at quarterback with Mike Wright. He really didn't do well down the stretch. And I'm also not gonna lie. Duke kind of got lucky. Not lucky, but they were also trying to give the game to Northwestern too. Duke, Malik Murphy, he did fumble. I think Northwestern dropped a pick, if I'm not mistaken, late game. Man. Like I said, they missed the field goal to tie it at first, but then Northwestern did nothing with the football, and then they come back down. They actually draw down the field twice. First time, like I said, they missed the field goal. Second time, they made the field goal to send it to OT, but defensive slugfest, Duke was just able to pull it out. One comment, and we'll get into Saturday. Let's see. Ooh, hold on. I was doing something in the banners. Teddy says, nah, you know why I'm saying that. Yeah, I know. I think part of it is Javon and part of it is Draco. I get it. We're going to Saturday. We got 15 games to go over, man. So y'all stick with me. First game we're going to talk about, them boys up north got to beat down. Texas beats Michigan on the road 31-12, and they look dominant while doing it. We'll talk about the game, and I'll talk about my thoughts on the game. So Texas starts with a 43-yard field goal being no good, which will lead to a 3-and-out punt by Michigan. Then Texas will score a 21-yard Gunnar Helm touchdown catch, which he himself set that up with a 22-yard catch during the drive. Then Michigan will come back and score a 37-yard field goal, but Texas will then score a 7-yard Jared Gibson touchdown run set up by Quatravion Wisner, 18-yard catch. Then Davis Warren would throw an interception, which would lead to a 26-yard field goal. And then Colston Loveland, he just fumbled. He caught the ball. Nobody tackled him. Nobody nothing. He just caught the ball, lost the ball, fumbled, and that would lead to a 5-yard Matt Golden touchdown catch for Texas. Then Michigan will start the second half with a punt. Texas will start the second half with a punt. Michigan will score a 52-yard field goal. Texas will score a 7-yard Jaden Blue touchdown catch set up by a 55-yard Ryan Wingo run. When Davis Warren would then throw another interception, but that would lead to a punt. Michigan would turn the ball over on downs, 4th and 6. Davis Warren passes incomplete, would lead to a punt. And then UM would score a garbage 31-yard Tomas Morgan touchdown catch set up by a 22-yard Peyton O'Leary catch. The 2-point would be no good, and then Texas would then run out the clock. Like I said, winning the game 31-12. Texas is dominant in this game, man. Quentin Ewers, he looked like he could do no wrong in this game. He looked so accurate. He was able to manipulate the pocket to make plays, extend plays downfield. It just looked accurate. Just, man, I can't rave enough about how good Quentin Ewers looked. And the thing that scares me the most is that Quentin Ewers is supposed to be at Ohio State right now. It's just imagine Quentin Ewers with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Ibuka last year, and now this year with the freshman they have. I'm blanking on his name right now, and then Emeka Ibuka and with Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins, man. Ohio State would look nasty if they were able to retain Quentin Ewers, but Quentin Ewers looked absolutely great. The running backs look good too. Jaden Blue and Jared Morgan, he looked good. I think Jaden Blue actually suffered an injury for a little while, but he came back. Michigan offensively looked bad. Davis Warren looks bad. The defense actually played pretty decent. They tried their best, but they were on the field a lot because the offense really couldn't get much done. As for Michigan, I know Joe said it a lot in the chat. You stop Donovan Edwards, you'll be fine. Like I said, you stop the run with Michigan, you'll be all right. Davis Warren does not look like a threat at all. And then they become predictable when they bring in Alex Orji. I know they brought him in for like a 3rd and short or 4th and short. As soon as they brought him in, I said quarterback run. What they run? Quarterback power. Knew it was coming. And if I know it's coming, I know Texas defensive coordinator know it's coming. So Michigan just looking predictable, looking bad on offense. They did lose a lot of production, and it shows. It shows. But Texas looks like one of the premier teams in college football, just like we all thought they would be. Just sucks they're in the same conference as Georgia, so it doesn't look too well that they'll win the SEC. But they could definitely pull it off. I'm not saying they can't, but I'm just saying in any other conference, they'll be the favorite to win it. But because they're in the SEC, they're not favored to win it. But I can't rave enough about this Texas team, man. They looked really good. Comment, and then we go to the next one. Teddy says, yeah, Michigan got to figure it out on offense. I hope they don't. I'm not even gonna lie to you. As a Michigan State fan, I hope they don't. All right, take a sip of water, and we're gonna get into this Arkansas Oklahoma State game, and what a game this was. Oh shoot, I got them out of order. Here we go. So, Arkansas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State miraculously wins this game 39-31 on double overtime. How did I could have sworn I put Arkansas scoring here. 31-30. Here we go. Now, what I will say before I get into what happened in this game, it seemed like both games tried to let the other team win. Arkansas let Oklahoma State back in this game. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It just seemed like they just tried to give the game to Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State's like, nah, we don't want it. Here you go, Arkansas, you take it. And they're like, nah, you take it. And then just back and forth. Like, it didn't seem like either one of these teams who wanted to win when it came down to the end. Traded missed field goals. Arkansas, I believe Arkansas committed a dumb penalty at the end. Arkansas should have won this game. I'm going to say this now. Arkansas should have won this game in regulation. This game should not have went to OT. This game shouldn't even probably been close. But Arkansas just kept making boneheaded plays to leave the door open for Oklahoma State. They let them hang around, and then Oklahoma State won it at home in double overtime. But I'm going to talk about what happened, and then I get my thoughts. So Oklahoma State starts with a turnover on downs, 4-for-1, passes incomplete, which will lead to a punt. Arkansas will score a 5-yard Jaquindon Jackson touchdown run, set up by 18-yard Tyrone Broden catch. Arkansas would then score a 5-yard Jaquindon Jackson touchdown run, set up by an Isaiah Santega 28-yard catch. Arkansas Taylor Green would throw a 73-yard pick six to Cale Smith. That's one of the things that kind of kept Oklahoma State in the game. Then Arkansas would then score an 11-yard Jaquindon Jackson touchdown run, set up by Isaac Tesla 32-yard catch. With 1:38 left in the second quarter, Allen Bowman would throw a pick, which would lead to the end of the half. Arkansas tried to go down and score something. It's just I think it was Anthony Armstrong caught the ball and caught it and ran it, and then ran the clock out. He couldn't get down in time. Then Arkansas would start the second half with a punt. Oklahoma State would get in the red zone, but ultimately, we only scored a 45-yard field goal. Jaquindon Jackson will fumble, which will lead to a 35-yard field goal. Then Arkansas misses a 41-yard field goal, which will lead to a punt, which the Arkansas punt returner muffed it, and Oklahoma State recovered, and that would lead to a 7-yard Brendan Presley touchdown catch, and the 2-point was good. I think that was also the Brendan Presley, or it could have been the Deshaun Stribling. I can't remember. Then Arkansas turnover on downs, 4th and 4, Taylor Green 3-yard run, which will lead to a 3-yard Brendan Presley touchdown catch. Arkansas will score a 43-yard Luke Haas touchdown catch. Then Oklahoma State will score a 38-yard field goal, and it looked like that it was only like maybe 30, 40 seconds left in the game when they did that. But Taylor Green and this explosive offense got down the field and kicked a 45-yard field goal to force overtime. And in overtime, Arkansas gets the ball first, and they missed a 46-yard field goal. And I'm like, yeah, this game is over. Arkansas just did everything in their power to lose, and they lost. But then Oklahoma State, they don't really play to win. They don't play to score the touchdown. They really play to we got the field goal. They just played to the field goal, and they missed a 41-yard field goal. I'm like, yep, now Arkansas is going to win it because they can't stop Arkansas offense. This is their best chance right here, and they blew it. And then Oklahoma State will start the second half. In the second OT, 12-yard Ollie Gordon touchdown run, his first touchdown of the game. The 2-point would be good. I believe that was a pass to Ollie Gordon on by the pylon. And then Arkansas would turn the ball over in the double OT, 4th and 1. They ran the ball with Rodney Hill, and they got blown up. And that's the game, man. Oklahoma State won 39-31. Now, here's the thing. Arkansas, I believe, did a great job on Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, he really didn't impact the game like that. They made Allen Bowman try to beat them. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the turnovers, Allen Bowman wouldn't have got it done. But we had turnovers at every turn. We had the muff punt. We got the pick. We got another punt. Like I said, the pick six. It was just so many turnovers and missed field goals and things like that. Arkansas left so much on the field, and it allowed Oklahoma State to come back and win. I will say that Arkansas's offense has looked to be very explosive in the first 2 weeks. Now, the first week was against UTEP. This week was against Oklahoma State, which I think, well, obviously Oklahoma State is the better team than UTEP. Oklahoma State looks to be a pretty decent defense. I'd say pretty good. But Arkansas looks to be very explosive. Talon Green, Jaquinty Jackson had a really good game, minus the fumble. But yeah, man, he almost fumbled twice. Second one got overturned. But yeah, this Arkansas team looks very explosive. Just gotta stop the turnovers. That killed them. That killed them this game. Oklahoma State now improves to 2-0. We move on to Kansas State at Tulane. I did pick Tulane to win. Oh, okay, so I didn't do that. So I picked Texas to beat Michigan, obviously. I picked Oklahoma State to beat Arkansas. And I picked K-State to beat Tulane, but I told y'all take them points. They was giving Tulane 9.5. I told y'all take them. They covered. They almost tied this shit to overtime, but a ticky-tack offensive pass interference kind of ruined that. I'm going to get into that later. Yeah, so Tulane loses a heartbreak at home. Tulane will start with a turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Shoddy Clayton Johnson stopped short. That would lead to a 3-0 punt by Kansas State. Kansas State would then score a 48-yard field goal. Tulane would score a 3-yard Mekhi Hughes touchdown run, which Mekhi Hughes had a day. That was set up by Dante Fleming, 53-yard catch. Tulane would score a 36-yard Alex Bowman touchdown catch. And K-State would score a 7-yard Will Swanson touchdown catch, set up by a wheel route by DJ Goodens for 51 yards. I thought it was gone. Tulane would score a 40-yard field goal. Then they would score a 41-yard field goal. And then K-State's 53-yard field goal would be no good right before the half, or it would lead to halftime. K-State would start the second half with a 3-0 punt. Tulane would start the second half with a 3-0 punt. And then K-State would score a 28-yard field goal. Then they would score a 45-yard DJ Giddens touchdown catch, set up by Braden Lofton 12-yard catch. And then Tulane would score a 13-yard Alex Bowman touchdown catch, set up by a 47-yard catch by Mario Williams. K-State would then score a 13-yard Dylan Edwards touchdown run, set up by Keegan Johnson 33-yard catch. And then Tulane, Darius Mensah would then be sacked and fumbled, which would be returned for a touchdown by Jack Fabers. And then with 5 seconds left in the game, Darian Mensah would throw an interception, which would lead to the end of the game. Now, like I said, questionable offensive pass interference at the end of the game caused Tulane to at least have overtime. I think they would have took overtime. I don't think they would have went for 2. I will say K-State offense did tend to heat up towards the end of the game. DJ Giddens started to heat up. He had some big plays. Darian Mensah, in my opinion, is a baller. Didn't know who he was. He was a freshman, I believe. Took the job from Ty Thompson, and he showed why he took the job, man. He's a baller. He was getting it done with his legs and his arm. A.B. Johnson had a decent game, but I think Darian Mensah showed me something in this game against K-State. But ultimately, it just came down. K-State got hot. They made the turnover when it happened most with the fumble. And then sometimes that's how the game goes. We had a ticky-tack offensive pass interference. You still had time to make a play. I think one play was incomplete, and then the next play was a pick. But I think this Tulane team put the world on notice, like I thought they would. That they're a good ball club. Losing Willie Fritz don't matter because John Summerall is a great enough replacement to keep Tulane at that high level that they have been in the American Conference. As for K-State, that's a great road win. It's nothing to sneeze at beating Tulane. I mean, I know some people might like, it's Tulane. Bro, you gotta watch college football. I keep telling y'all, these group of 5 schools are good, man. And so I think this was a great road win for K-State. We're gonna move on to an explosive game. I picked Georgia Tech to beat Syracuse. As y'all know, I told y'all multiple times I was not a fan of Cal McCord at Ohio State. And I'll be the first one to say it right now. Cal McCord has been shocking me how well he's looked at Syracuse. He's looked nothing less than a baller at Syracuse. He's making great throws, timely throws. He's executing at a high level. He's executing this offense really well for the Syracuse Orangemen. And they were able to pull out the W 31-28 against a really good Georgia Tech team. At home as home dogs. Syracuse will start with an 11-yard Trevor Pena touchdown catch, which Trevor Pena had a good game. He was making plays. That was set up by a 28-yard LaQuint Allen catch. I think that was like on the screen. Georgia Tech will start with a 21-yard Haynes King touchdown run. That was an amazing play. I think he almost failed, kept his balance and scored. Avery Boyd set it up with a 19-yard catch. Syracuse would miss a 43-yard field goal, but that would just lead to a 3-and-out punt. Syracuse would score an 11-yard Trevor Pena touchdown catch, set up by a Trevor Pena 32-yard catch. I believe the 32-yard catch was a deep post. Syracuse would then score a 20-yard Arundé Gadsden, who had another good game, touchdown catch, and he set that up with a 32-yard catch of his own. Georgia Tech would score a 26-yard Haynes King touchdown run, set up by a 45-yard Eric Singleton catch. And Syracuse would then punt the ball, which is blocked by Georgia Tech, which would lead to a 45-yard field goal miss before the half. Georgia Tech would start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Syracuse would start the second half with a 33-yard field goal. With 12 minutes and 40 seconds left, Georgia Tech turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Anthony Carey, 3-yard loss, which would lead to a 17-yard Arundé Gadsden touchdown catch. Georgia Tech would score a 4-yard Chase Lane touchdown catch, set up by Avery Boyd's 20-yard catch. And then Georgia Tech will recover the onside kick. I believe the receiving team touched it, and then Georgia Tech was just able to fall on it. And that would lead to a 15-yard Jamal Haynes touchdown run. The ensuing kickoff, they kicked it deep, and then Syracuse converted a 3rd and 10, which they threw the ball with Cal McCord, which shows you how much trust they have in Cal McCord. And he completed it for a 13-yard pass to Arundé Gadsden, and they were able to run out the clock then to win the game. My biggest takeaways is how good Cal McCord looked. Haynes King didn't have the turnover. I think he tried to have it, but he didn't. Georgia Tech special teams played really well, got the block punt. I think they blocked the first kick that Syracuse missed. I couldn't tell, but I think he did get a hand on it. Georgia Tech, and then they got the onside kick. Special teams really helped Georgia Tech out. It's just they could not get it done. I will say on 3rd downs, Georgia Tech just could not get off the field. Let me bring this up real quick. Speaking of bringing it up, I got to talk about these polls after I'm done all that. I haven't did poll talk yet. So that's bad on me. I will do poll talk when I'm done recapping these games because I have to. But as I'm doing that, let me try to find these stats real quick. I want to say Syracuse might have been like 60% on 3rd down, and I'm not even gassing it. It could be even higher. Let's see. I should have just did ACC. ACC week 2, we got it right here. Syracuse was 10 of 17 on 3rd down, 2 of 2 on 4th down. It don't have a percentage. I just do it on my phone real quick. That ain't no thing. 10 of 17. 59%. So I was close. I said 60, 59%. Right there. Just could not get off the field on 3rd downs. And that was the thing that really won them the game against Florida State, being able to get off the field. Didn't matter if it was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 2, 33, 3rd and 15. At one point I said going to the bathroom, man, Georgia Tech ain't getting these boys off the field if it was a 3rd and 40. Just couldn't get them off the field, man. And yeah, ultimately it bit them in the behind. 3-point game, having a chance to get the ball late to drive, 3rd and 10. There's nothing more you can ask for than a 3rd and 10 to give your offense a shot, and you give up a 13-yard pass play. So shout out Syracuse, man. Again, executed at a high level and won the game. Now, the last noon game I got for y'all was Pitt 28 at Cincinnati 27. Take a sip of water real quick. And I'm not going to lie. Before I get into this game, Cincinnati blew it. I picked Cincinnati to win, and they blew the game. They were up 27-6, I believe. Late third, offense just went away. And then they just gave up. They just let Pittsburgh march up and down the field. Pitt scored 22 unanswered points to win this game. Unbelievable. Cincinnati, like I said, they just blew it. But let's talk about what happened in it. Cincinnati would start with a punt. Pitt would start with an Eli Holton interception. And I believe I said it on our preview show. I said Eli Holton's been playing well, or he played well because he was 1-0. But he's young. He's a freshman. Can they commit turnovers? Can they get him to commit the turnover? And first drive, they get a pick. And that would lead to a Jamoy Mays, 52-yard touchdown catch. Then Pitt would score a 47-yard field goal, and then Cincy would score a 5-yard Tony Johnson touchdown catch, set up by Xavier Henderson 34-yard catch. And then Cincy would score a 49-yard field goal. Cincy would miss a 25-yard field goal, which would lead to a 53-yard field goal by Pitt, and I believe that was before the half. Pitt would start the second half with a turnover on downs, 4 for 3 passes, incomplete, leads to a 16-yard Joe Roger, touchdown catch. Syracuse would then, not Syracuse. I keep saying Syracuse. Cincinnati would then score a 26-yard field goal. Now, here's where it get crazy. Because Pitt would then score an 11-yard Kanata Mumfield touchdown catch. And he was celebrating. I'm like, why are you celebrating? You down like 27 to 13 or 12. Because I think they went, no, 13. They didn't go for 2. You down like 27-13. It's like late in the third, bro. You down way too much. You don't need to be celebrating right now. And y'all know me. I'm not even a front runner, but like, bro, you can't be celebrating at this time. And then Pitt would then score a 38-yard Kanata Mumfield touchdown catch. I'm like, okay, hold on now. Maybe they cooking. Now it's set up by Desmond Reed, 16-yard catch, but the 2-point would be no good. And then Pitt would score a 56-yard Desmond Reed touchdown catch, set up by Raphael Williams, 14-yard catch. Again, the 2-point would be no good. So for those of you counting at home, that's 19. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown, 7. Touchdown, 6, because the 2-point no good. Touchdown again, 6, 2-point no good. So 19. And then Pitt would score the game. I would say go ahead, 35-yard field goal, because there was still time left. Cincinnati would get the ball. They would call a pass, but I think they ran like a 10-yard stop, and they tried to do the laterals. Pitt would end up recovering the fumble lateral and win the game. So that was the game right there, man. Up 27-6, you got to come home with that at-home rivalry game. You got to be able to close that. They weren't able to close it. Was allowing Pitt to get the run game with Desmond Reed going, passing game with Konata Mumfield and Desmond Reed out the backfield. All of a sudden, just could not stop Pitt. Pitt scores 3 straight touchdowns and a field goal to win it. Cincinnati does nothing on offense to counter. Lose the game. But that's it for the 12 o'clock. So we then go on to the Chipotle Bowl. Michigan State wins against Maryland. And y'all know, I said it on the preview show, I am tired of losing to Maryland. We don't lose to Maryland. We were undefeated until these last 2 years. We don't lose to Maryland. And we finally back on top, beating Maryland 27-24 at their house, which makes it even sweeter. Tomo thought it was sweet when they went up a touchdown. And then Aiden Childs goes and throws that. I can't remember if it was in the red zone or not. If not, it was barely outside the red zone. He throws that pick. Thought it was sweet. Mike Locksley to start the fourth quarter, like, yeah, it's a real defensive game, but I like the way the momentum is starting to swing in our favor. And momentum said, what? Sure. It went right to MSU, and we won the game. But let's talk about it. Maryland starts with a 15-yard Ty Felton touchdown catch. That was set up by defensive pass interference. MSU would start with a 9-yard Montoya Foster touchdown catch. He had a game. Nate Carter broke a 30-yard run to set that up. Aiden Childs would throw a stupid interception. That would lead to a Billy Edwards 7-yard touchdown run. Get used to me saying Aiden Childs throwing interceptions, man. Another multi-turnover game by him. MSU would then score a 34-yard Jerron Glover touchdown catch, which that ball, I believe, was on a rope. Set up by Jerron Glover 20-yard catch. Then MSU would score a 50-yard field goal before the half. We was up 17-14. I was looking sweet. I was feeling good. Trash talk was going in the chat both ways. Kev was in the chat. Looked like he wanted to side with Maryland. Then MSU would start the second half with an Aiden Childs interception. It was so stupid. He should have, and that's the thing. He should have threw an interception before he threw that one. Like, he running on the sideline, throw the ball away. He threw it right to a Maryland defender. Bro, what are you doing? Thank God his foot was out of bounds. But what are you doing? And that would lead to a Maryland 45-yard field goal. And then Maryland would score a 28-yard Dylan Wade touchdown catch. Then Aiden Childs would fumble the ball, but Billy Edwards, man, I told you get an interception off him. He threw a pick right back, but that leads to a 3-and-out punt. And then Maryland would miss a 41-yard field goal, which will lead to a one-play 77-yard Nick Marsh touchdown on a rope on a post pattern. And then with the time expiring, MSU would score a 37-yard field goal for the win, winning the Chipotle Bowl. Aiden Childs has got to be better with the football. Please be better with the ball. You can't keep making dumb mistakes, getting to the sideline, and then tap yourself on the chest like, my bad. When is it not going to be your bad? When are you going to make the decision that I'm going to stop doing stupid stuff and getting to the sideline and saying my bad? When are you going to make that decision? Please. That interception that linebacker almost got on the sideline when you're supposed to roll out and throw it away is unacceptable. It should be nowhere near a thought that ball should be almost picked. That ball should be over his head by a mile. That just can't happen. Bruh. You have spurts where you make dimes and you throw incredible passes. But I can't let that blind me from the fact that you have spurts and you have moments where you look like a guy who's playing JV. And it's just like, what are you doing? You are better than this. Cut it out. I get you're young. But come on. This is collegiate football. You got to be better. As for Maryland, they did a pretty good job. It was a point in time where we couldn't get Maryland off the field on third downs too. Just like the Syracuse-Georgia Tech game, we couldn't get them boys off the field on third down. But we buckled down in the fourth quarter, got the stops we needed necessary. Got a break with a missed field goal. Definitely got a break there. But we capitalized. And overall, we got the job done. But Maryland, they played a really good game. They were able to move the ball through the air. They were able to convert a lot of third downs. Let me see if I can bring up the third down numbers for them because they converted a lot of third downs. Let's see. Why? Okay, I'm on ACC. So Maryland on third down was 11 for 17. Even better than Georgia Tech. Syracuse against Georgia Tech. 11 for 17. MSU was 8 of 14, so right there. MSU had 3 turnovers. Like I said, the Aiden Childs fumble and 2 picks. Billy Edwards only had 1 pick. Penalty yards was about even 10 to 100, 9 to 80. Passing is where we got them. We had 363 passing yards today, 253. They had 86 rushing yards. It felt like they had more rushing yards today. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So I won 30. We did a really good job too. Nate Carter came alive this game. K'Ron Lynch Adams had some beastly runs. But overall, they missed the field goal. We capitalized, scored, got the ball back, got a big stop on third down. They punted us the ball back, and we was able to run the clock out and win it. Yeah, nothing more. I need my double chicken. I will be letting you know when I want it. It's not soon, but I will let you know. Another game, also picked Michigan State to win that, obviously. And I was upset in terms of the books. Now, another game I picked South Carolina to beat Kentucky at Kentucky. This, y'all know I'm a South Carolina fan too, but this had nothing to do with me being a South Carolina homie. If anything, I would have picked Kentucky if it was up to me being a South Carolina guy. I just felt like we could beat beat Kentucky, and we did. Came to that game is like 8.5, 9.5 point dogs, won it outright. So if you listen to me on those 2 games, money line the 2 Michigan State South Carolina game, you got yourself a nice little tasty treat. Of course, I didn't because I got multiple legs. I did take those 2 spread, but I put a bunch of other stuff on there. I put Notre Dame on there who got upset. I made like 6 legs, so the other game screwed me over. But South Carolina was stifling on defense versus Kentucky. And the team, Raheem Sanders got a couple. When I say a couple, I let him in a couple. Big runs against Kentucky. Got a little groove in. But let's talk about what happened in the game and I get my thoughts. But all right, let's start with Kentucky starts with a punt. South Carolina starts with a 3-and-out punt. But South Carolina scored first with a 24-yard Messio Bennett touchdown catch, set up by Jared Brown 21-yard catch. With 11-15 minutes left in the second quarter. Kentucky will have a turnover on downs. 4th and 1, Brock Vandegrift run for no gain. Leads to a 29-yard field goal. Kentucky will score a 32-yard field goal. Then Lenoir Sellers will throw a pick, and that will lead to a Kentucky 39-yard field goal. South Carolina started the second half with a punt. Kentucky will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. But then South Carolina will score a 16-yard Joshua Simon touchdown catch set up by a 32-yard Messio Bennett catch. And then South Carolina will score a 6-yard Raheem Sanders touchdown run set up by Raheem Sanders 21-yard run. That's the one where he almost ran it in, got to the 1, but there was I can't remember the penalties. I think it was a bevy of plays that made it a 6-yard run. Then Kentucky's Brock Vandegrift would throw a pick 6 to my boy. I said the best player on our defense, Nick Amaroy. Then Gavin Wimsey would throw a pick, which would lead to a punt, but this is all garbage time. And then Kentucky will have a 4th and 18, turnover on downs, passes incomplete, which will lead to the end of the game. Defense, like I said, was stifling, was dominant against Kentucky. Kentucky's passing game, I put it non-existent. It was non-existent. I don't think they had triple digits passing yards in this game. So South Carolina just dominated the line of scrimmage, dominated in the passing game. Just did not give Kentucky many chances to be in successful situations, and they dominated the game and won. So shout out South Carolina, 2-0 in the year. Escape from Old Dominion, beat the mess out of Kentucky, and now they move on to LSU, which is going to be a nice little test. Kentucky finished with 44 passing yards. That's non-existent. We move on to Baylor at Utah. And side note in this game, actually, we move on to Iowa State, Iowa. I got that one next. My bad. So no side note yet. We'll talk about what happened, and I got some thoughts in this game as well. Iowa State beats Iowa 20-19. I picked Iowa to win. I know I said I don't think this is the Iowa State offense to win the game. And throughout most of that game, I looked right. Then Iowa State caught heat in that fourth quarter, and Iowa could not stop. Iowa would start with a punt. Iowa State would start with a 3-and-out punt. Iowa would score a 27-yard Caleb Johnson touchdown run set up by a 16-yard Jacob Gill catch. With 55 seconds left in the first quarter, Rocco Beck would throw a pick, which would lead to a 23-yard field goal. With 1:11 left in the second quarter, Iowa scores a 21-yard field goal. Iowa State would miss a 41-yard field goal right before the half. So Iowa went up 13-0 at halftime. The under looked sweet in this game, too, until the end. Iowa State would start with a second half punt, 3-and-out punt. Iowa would start with a second half Cade McNamara interception, which will lead to a Jaden Higgins 3-yard touchdown. And I feel like that's when momentum swung. That pick kind of swung momentum. Iowa would then score a 3-yard Caleb Johnson touchdown run set up by a Caleb Johnson 54-yard run. But the 2-point would be no good. And here's my thing. I get the strategy with most teams where you go for 2, make it a 14-point game. There's no difference between being up 12 and 13. If they score 2 touchdowns, kick 2 extra points, you lose. I get the strategy. But you're Iowa. You don't have any offense. You rely on your defense. I'm kicking the extra point, and I'm taking my points. If they score 2 touchdowns on an Iowa defense, I am losing that game. But I digress. That's just my thought process with a team that doesn't have any offense. You struggle to get 10 yards in 3 plays. You have to get me in this end zone in 1 play with 2 yards, 2.5. I can't trust it, and it was no good. And they actually threw to get it too, which was the crazier part. Takes the ball out of their best player, Caleb Johnson's hands. Iowa State would then score a 75-yard Jalen Noel touchdown catch. And then with 11:32 left in the fourth quarter, Iowa State scores a 46-yard field goal. And then with 6 seconds left in the game, Iowa State kicks the game-winning 54-yard field goal. And then Iowa Cade McNamara didn't even get the ball far enough, but it was picked off in a Hail Mary. And it just falls to the ground. That leads to the end of the game. Iowa not being able to pass the ball, it hurt. They had a chance to ice the game late. They got 1 first down, but it wasn't enough to ice it. Got into a 3rd and long. Obviously, Iowa's not going to throw the ball. They're going to run it. I'm guaranteed giving Iowa State the ball back. And Iowa State went down. It could have been a tie ball game if you took your extra point. But again, I get the strategy. It's just the only reason why I don't agree is because you're Iowa. Any other team, I agree. Because you're Iowa, I don't agree. But that leads to a win instead of a tie. And you gave up big plays. You gave up big plays at the end of the game. That's uncharacteristic of an Iowa defense. Iowa State was just able to make plays. Matt Campbell keeps teaching these boys to be grimy and gritty. They come out with the win. I thought this wasn't the offense to do it. Like I said, for 3 quarters, I was right. But Iowa let up big plays. Iowa State took advantage, and they won the game. Not being able to pass the ball yet again hurts Iowa. If I had to remember correctly, I think Iowa only had double-digit passing yards in this game as well. My notes, I put Iowa just couldn't score to ice the game. Iowa State offense got hot in the second half. Iowa State hit big plays and got big stops before the game. Got a big stop before the game winning field goal. Those are my notes on that game. Iowa had 99 passing yards on 29 attempts and threw 2 picks. So there you go. Iowa being Iowa. Next game, I don't even have this out. Oh, I did have Baylor, Utah next. Oh, no. Okay, I forgot. I went in order my journal. Next game is Baylor, Utah. And then Cal Auburn should be last. Okay. All right. It's just confusing me because I got it different in my journal than I do in my banners. I don't even know how that happened. Like I said, it's late. Cut me some slack. But Utah was able to hold on, and I say hold on because Cam Rising yet again got hurt. This kind of time was kind of on Cam Rising. Tried to extend the play too late. Now, I don't know what he tried to throw the ball out with 2 hands, and he just never came back after that play. They hold on to win, though, 23-12. Let's talk about the game, and then I'll talk about my notes after. Utah will start with a punt. Baylor will start with a punt. Utah will score a 28-yard touchdown pass to Money Parks, set up by a defensive pass interference. Daquan Finn would then fumble the ball, which leads to a 2-yard Michael Bernard touchdown catch. Utah would then score a 30-yard field goal. With 5:21 left in the second quarter, Utah would block a Baylor 49-yard field goal and return it 77 yards for a touchdown by Teo Johnson. And the point after the attempt will be blocked, so that's funny. Baylor turnover down, 4 for 3 passes incomplete, which will lead to a 45-yard field goal miss, which will lead to a Baylor 44-yard field goal. And then Baylor will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Utah will start with the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Baylor will score a 39-yard field goal, and then Baylor will score a 47-yard Josh Cameron touchdown catch, but the 2-point will be no good. Then with 3:46 left in the fourth quarter, Utah misses a 43-yard field goal, which will lead to a Baylor turnover on downs. 4 for 14, Richard Reese, 6-yard catch on 4 for 14, so 8 yards short, which will lead to the end of the game. My notes are Cam Rising hurt yet again. That's why Utah did not score in the second half. I don't even know who the backup was. I can't remember his name, but I told y'all Cam Rising takes this Utah team from here all the way here. He elevates this program to another level. And when he's not there, offense looks so bad. It's just so defense reliant, which thankfully him and the special team spotted them 23 points at halftime. So they had a lot of wiggle room to play with. Offense stagnant after injury, and then Utah's defense stood tall after injury. So there's that. Baylor, the offensive turnover they had was the fumble by Daquan Finn. But other than that, they didn't really have any turnovers. Special teams, field goal block, allowed the field goal to get blocked. That's not good. And they just could not move the ball in Utah at all, which I thought would happen. I thought they would not be able to move the ball. Now, because Cam Rising got hurt, Baylor actually covered the spread. The spread was 14.5. I texted the group chat like I low-key like that, and I was wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the wrong side of that. Should not have hit, but Cam Rising got hurt, and it did hit. So if you did take it, you got lucky. Because again, it should not have. We were definitely on the wrong side of that. If you didn't take it, if you went opposite, you were pissed because you should have won that bet. And I'm currently looking for the Baylor game. I want to see how many yards Baylor actually had. Why can I not find it? They were in this time slot. You know what? I'll just go Big 12. It should pop right up. Big 12 week 2. By the way, that was not a Big 12 conference game because they scheduled a home and home before Utah was a part of the Big 12. So it's just a regular non-con game. That one. Total yards for Baylor was 223, 115 passing, 108 rushing, and that's including garbage stats. 4 of 16 on third down, 25%. Again, Utah defense stood tall for the Utah Utes. But we move on to Cal at Auburn. I did pick Auburn to win, so I got 3 wrong in the afternoon slot. I got 2 right, Michigan State, South Carolina. I got Iowa wrong. I got 3 right because I picked Utah to win. I got Utah right, Michigan State, and South Carolina right. I got Iowa wrong, and I got Auburn wrong. And I got Auburn wrong, and I should have known. I told myself go against Peyton Thorne against a good team. And Peyton Thorne didn't proceed to let me down. Peyton Thorne, 2 interceptions? This is Cal, Auburn, so this is SEC, ACC. 2 interceptions. We had a Jaquarius Hunter fumble, which he can't afford to be bad or fumble. I won't say bad. He can't afford to turn the ball over because your quarterback's already going to do it. It was a defensive game like I thought, man. Auburn did a really good job defensively, despite having those 3 turnovers. Auburn actually had 5 turnovers and gave up 21 points. So Auburn defense was stifling like I thought. Just the turnovers, man. The turnovers. Let's see. Peyton Thorne had 4 interceptions, and then Jaquarius Hunter had 1 fumble. And I know I talked about – oh, shoot. Oh, no, that's my notes after the game. I know in my preview I talked about Peyton Thorne and the ability to turn the ball over. The Peyton Thorne experiment is not going to work at Auburn. Hugh Freeze, I know he talked about it either today or yesterday. You got to make this change, bro. You got to make this change. It's not going to work. It's not – he's not it. He left MSU. It's a reason why he left MSU, and we went with Noah Kim and Sam Leavitt and I can't even remember the other dude name. I always forget it. And Sam Leavitt wasn't even the guy that was playing. It was Noah Kim and somebody else. Oh my God, I always forget his name. Whatever. He's at Eastern Carolina. But yeah, I'll talk about what happened in the game. I kind of already gave my reaction to the game. Peyton Thorne just needs to hang it up. Auburn starts with a 15-yard Keandre Lambert-Smith touchdown catch, set up by Cam Coleman 41-yard catch. Cal will start with a 19-yard Isaiah Hunter touchdown catch, set up by 25-yard Jonathan Brady catch. Auburn would then turn the ball over on downs, 4th and 2 passes incomplete, which will lead to a 25-yard field goal miss by Cal, which will lead to a Peyton Thorne interception, which will lead to a 13-yard Isaiah Hunter touchdown catch. Auburn would then miss a 17-yard field goal before the half, which that's kind of insane. Cal will start the second half with a punt. Auburn will start with a punt. To end the third quarter, Peyton Thorne throws another interception, which will lead to a 55-yard field goal miss by Cal, which will lead to a Jaquez Hunter fumble, which will lead to a Javion Thomas 32-yard touchdown run. Then Auburn scores a 2-yard Peyton Thorne touchdown run. Then Peyton Thorne would throw an interception leading to a 3-and-out punt, and then Peyton Thorne would throw another interception leading to the end of the game. 4 picks is just unacceptable. 2 is already bad. 3 is unacceptable. But 4, man, you can't win much with 4. 4 picks and then a fumble. It's just everybody has to play perfect because Peyton Thorne is going to play. I'm sorry. I don't want to trash the kid. He's still a kid. Don't want to trash him, but he played so bad. So bad. But we're going to move on to Kansas at Illinois. And I picked Kansas to win this, and Jalen Daniels tricked the game off. 3 interceptions from Jalen Daniels. Just can't do it, including a pick 6 before the half on the screenplay. They called the screen thinking it was something safe. Xavier Scott said, "This ain't safe enough for me, buddy." Pick 6 right before the half. Yeah, just like the game against Auburn, you cannot win games with that many turnovers. I thought Luke Altmaier might be the guy throwing picks. No, it was Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels, I want to say 3 picks and a fumble. I'm looking for that now. Yeah, they had 4 turnovers, 1 fumble, and 3 picks. The only turnover Illinois had, I think the punt returner muffed the punt. I think that's the only turnover they had because it was fumble. I remember the fumble. I just can't remember who fumbled. But can't have it. 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers, man, for the Jayhawks. Should be 2-0. Instead, 1-1. Yep, Jalen Daniels got sacked by Xavier Scott. No secret. Xavier Scott, defensive player, made the thumbnail. He's no major performances. There's no secret there. I'm trying to see the fumble from Illinois. I want to say it was the punt returner because I watched. Man, hey, shout out YouTube TV with the 4-on-1. Oh no, it was Zakari Franklin. That's right, it was Zakari Franklin. But yeah, shout out YouTube TV 4-on-1. Had that on the TV. Then I had my phone, so I had 5 games going at once. But I only needed really 4. But I was watching. I ain't gonna lie, Wolfpack, baby. I was watching Nevada. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But I'm talking about what happened to the game. Give my thoughts. Kansas will start with a Jalen Daniels interception, which will lead to an Illinois 23-yard field goal. Kansas scored a 29-yard field goal. Illinois' Zakari Franklin would fumble, which will lead to a 4th and 2 turnover on downs. It looked like Luke Grimm. They gave Luke Grimm the first down, but after review, he was short, so he didn't get it, which will lead to a 3-and-out punt. The Kansas will then score a 3-yard Luke Grimm touchdown catch, set up by a 26-yard Devin Hill run. Illinois will score a 50-yard field goal, and then Jalen Daniels will throw a pick 6 to Xavier Scott on the screenplay right before half. Illinois will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Kansas will start the second half with a 13-yard Lawrence Arnold touchdown catch, set up by Quentin Skinner 21-yard catch. And I'm thinking, here we go. Offense on the move. This is the Kansas offense I know. Then Jalen Daniels will throw his 3rd interception, which will lead to a punt. Then Illinois will score a 1-yard Caden Fagan touchdown run on a 28-yard Pat Bryant catch. Now, I think that's when the punt returner muffed it, but they were able to fall on it in the end zone, so Illinois keeps the ball. But Kansas should have fell on that fumble. He was right there. I don't know how they would do it. Then Illinois will score a 43-yard field goal. And then Jalen Daniels will fumble. Illinois will recover to end the game. In my notes, I have Jalen Daniels was careless with the football. And Illinois forced extra possessions and capitalized off those possessions. Pick 6 is the ultimate capitalization. The field goal on 1. And then 1 they punted. And then the fumble was to end the game. So that's the ultimate capitalization. And then the offense caught fire in the fourth quarter. For some reason, Kansas couldn't get off the field in the fourth quarter, no matter what it was. Pat Bryant's 28-yard catch, I believe that came on like 30 and long. So they just could not get off the field. I think Kansas even forced them to like a 2nd and 20 or 1st and 20. And they got it in like 2 plays. It was something crazy like that. Illinois in the fourth quarter just could not be stopped by Kansas. Kansas turned the ball over like crazy, and it cost them the game. And I think it caused them to be ranked. I don't think they're not ranked anymore now because of it. So Illinois pull off the upset. Now the next game, South Florida, Alabama. This game, the score does not dictate how the game went. The final score is 16-42, but with 5 or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the score was 16-21. South Florida was really 13-21. They couldn't capitalize on the goal-to-goal situation, had to kick a field goal. But South Florida was down 5 with 5-6 minutes left, and Alabama just blew it open from there. But I think it's because South Florida was gassed. Being in a game like this with a team like that, it's tough. It wears down on you. And they just gave up big run after big run. The defense was gassed. So let's talk about it. What happened, and I'll talk about it then. But South Florida will start with a 34-yard field goal. Alabama will start with a 3-and-out punt. Alabama will then score a 10-yard Jalen Milroe touchdown run, which that was like one of the most successful things throughout the game that Alabama had was the Jalen Milroe run. Set up by a 13-yard Jeremy Bernard catch. With 9:45 left in the second quarter, South Florida will score a 25-yard field goal. Then Alabama will score a 5-yard Jalen Milroe touchdown run, set up by Kobe Pregnant's 18-yard catch. Alabama will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. South Florida will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Alabama's Jan Miller will fumble, which will lead to a 2-yard Tayron Keefe touchdown run. With 13:44 left in the fourth quarter, Alabama's Jalen Milroe would fumble the snap, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. And I believe that was like in the goal line or like on the red zone. Alabama would then score a 16-yard Kobe Preaton's touchdown catch set up by Jalen Mbakwe 28-yard punt return. That's because the punt return, I think his name was Cole Adams or something like that. He got hurt for Alabama. And then South Florida would score a 22-yard field goal. Alabama would then score a 43-yard Ryan Williams touchdown catch. The freshman has been doing great things. Set up by Jan Miller 25-yard run. South Florida turnover on downs 4th and 7. Byron Brown pass is incomplete. Leads to a 56-yard Jan Miller touchdown run. And then on 4th and 6, Byron Brown pass is incomplete. Turnover on downs, which will lead to a 29-yard Justice Haynes touchdown run. And then USF will run the clock out, losing 42-16. But like I said, man, the game was closer than what the score indicates. Now, for Bama, the offensive line killed Bama. Caden Proctor being out definitely did not help for Alabama. And penalties. Penalties took away so many big plays for Alabama. It's not funny. Jalen Milroe had a long touchdown run. One of them say 60-plus. Taken back, I believe, a holding. It was just so many big plays taken away by penalties. Missed blocking assignments, taking away big plays. Milroe had to run for his life. O-line looked bad. USF was able to pressure Jalen Milroe, and USF was able to run the rock. It's just, like I said, late game. They said talent prevails, but I say that, but I think it's tough to play a team like that, and then it just wears on you, and it wore on them. I think that's what it was. I think they wore them down. But great game by both teams. Bama's just a better team. Better team won. But they covered the 30.5. I did tell people that game would not be sweet. Did I switch? Okay, I did switch. Next, we got Colorado at Nebraska. I did pick Nebraska. By the way, I did pick Bama to beat USF. I know USF was my sleeper team, but I ain't that stupid. I did pick Nebraska to beat Colorado, mainly because of the trenches. The trenches, man. I keep telling people. Colorado, although they look really good at skill positions, them trenches, they not there yet. Nebraska wins 28-10. Now, Nebraska was up 28, was it 3? No, they was up 28 zip for a while. Maybe 28-3 for a while. Colorado scored a touchdown. They make it look a little cuter. But Nebraska dominated this game. But I do got some Colorado points at the end. So I do got those. Colorado starts with a 3-and-out punt. Nebraska starts with a Dante Dowdle 12-yard touchdown run set up by a 13-yard run by Dante Dowdle. Excuse me. Colorado turnover downs 4th and 1. Charlie Offerdale 2-yard loss leads to a punt.
Then Colorado Shador, Sanders throws a pick six to Tommy Hill, throwing opposite hash on a stop route. Tommy Hill jumps in and picks it for 6. Nebraska would then miss a 32-yard field goal, which leads to a punt. Nebraska then scores a 1-yard Dante Dowdle touchdown run set up by Jalen Lloyd, 36-yard catch. Colorado would then score a 30-yard, they would miss a 30-yard field goal, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Nebraska would score an 18-yard Ramir Johnson touchdown catch, set up by targeting and a defensive pass interference. Colorado would miss a 61-yard field goal before the half. They just tried something. It was no good. Nebraska would start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Colorado would start with the second half with a 27-yard field goal. There were 12:51 left in the fourth quarter. Turnover on downs. Charlie Arfidel 1-yard loss on 4th and 1. Leads to a block punt by Colorado, which would lead to a 5-yard DeJounte Webster touchdown catch. And the Colorado's Ryan Stubb will be sacked and fumbled, but that would lead to the end of the game. Now, I do got some notes. Colorado did shut out Nebraska in the second half. Prime at halftime really gave his defense props for how they was playing, and they pitched a shutout in the second half. Now, you might be thinking it's fluke, but against North Dakota State, they only gave up 6 points in the second half. So the defense do got a little something there. They do have a little something there. But that D-line for Nebraska was too much. I think they had like 5-6 sacks in the first half against Colorado. They were just punishing Shador. And for Colorado, they don't have any run game still. The run game's terrible. It was awful. They couldn't get it going. I'm going to look at the numbers. I think they said they had 16 yards rushing all game. 16 yards rushing all game. Absolutely atrocious. And then you pattern that with 2 turnovers, a fumble, and a pick, which the fumble was at garbage time, so that don't really matter. So I'll just say 1. A pick 6, you can't afford a pick 6 against a team like this when you're clearly overmatched. Can't afford it. Now, Dylan Raiola, he did a decent job. Nebraska wasn't great on third down, 3 of 12. So, but he did a really good. I think you see some things with Dylan Raiola that makes you go like, okay, I see why he was the number 1 quarterback as a freshman coming in. He looks really good. He still got some things to work on, but he's a freshman. He's going to grow. I really wish I could find the sacks in this game. Oh, I can't. Hold on. I think I got a box score, though. Box score and defense. Yeah, here we go, sacks. Nebraska had 6 sacks this game. Inexcusable by the Colorado offensive line. This is inexcusable. But Nebraska dominates. They get the win. Now, this next game, I ain't going to talk about too much. I ain't even going to tell y'all what happened. The score was 51-10. I'm going to just talk about my notes. We're going to keep it pushing. Tennessee was too much. NC State, again, they just rely on KC Concepcion in the passing game, and that's not enough, especially against a team like Tennessee. You're going to get burnt. You're going to get smoked. And they did. KC Concepcion, although a great player, is not going to be good enough to be elite talent or elite teams. And Tennessee should be an elite team. So he's not going to be able to shoulder the load. Tennessee's run game did go crazy. I believe Dylan Sampson had over 100. Nico Amaleva broke some big runs. The run game for Tennessee was a lot for NC State to handle. Also, speaking of Nico, had a pretty decent game, but he did throw 2 picks. So they were able to make Nico look a little human. I know this is only his 3rd game in his collegiate career. 1 was in a bowl game, and 1 was last week not last week, week 1 against UT Chattanooga, but he had 2 picks. He had 211 passing yards, 2 picks, but he also had 65 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Dylan Sampson, 20 carries, 432 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Tennessee just dominated this game. NC State could not do much on offense. Grayson McCall had 1 pick, no touchdowns, 104 yards. His leading receiver, KC Concepcion, was 5 for 53. Next receiver, Justin Jolly, 4 for 30. No run game at all. 39 total rushing yards. Jordan Waters, the running back, 7 carries, -4 yards. Just straight domination by Tennessee. That's why I'm not even going to get into the game like that. Blowout. I wrote everything down, but I'm not talking about this. And then last game, a fun one. In Boise State, Oregon. Boise State almost upsets Oregon, but Oregon special teams comes through, wins the game. Well, they didn't win it. Well, they kicked it. So, yeah, wins the game. Had a punt return, had a kick return, kicked to win the game. Special teams saved Oregon's keister, but that's why football is 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. You never know when you're going to need your special teams. But let's get into the game. So Oregon started with a 3-and-out punt. Boise State starts with a 42-yard field goal. With 4:36 left in the first quarter, Oregon scores a 1-yard Dylan Gabriel touchdown run, read option, set up by Evan Stewart, 67-yard catch. Boise State would then score an Ashton Genty 3-yard touchdown run, set up by a 21-yard Latrell Cable's catch. With 9:28 left in the second quarter, Oregon scores a 34-yard Evan Stewart touchdown catch, wide open, set up by Johnson 24-yard punt return. With 4:51 left in the second quarter, Boise State scores a Cam Campbell 17-yard touchdown catch, set up by a Cooper Jones 22-yard punt return. Then Boise State would score a 20-yard field goal. Start the second half, Boise State started with a punt. Oregon State would start the second half with a 59-yard Trayshawn Holden touchdown catch. With 3:57 left in the third quarter, Boise State punts to Tej Johnson, and he returns it 85 yards to the house. Made a guy miss, was able to get the edge, and was gone. Boise State misses a 54-yard field goal, which will lead to a Patrick Herbert fumble, which will lead to Ashton Genty 70 yards to the house. Breakaway speed. Even the announcer like, man, I question his long speed. I don't question it anymore. Ashton Genty is just a dog. And then Dylan Gabriel will fumble, which will lead to an 8-yard Ashton Genty touchdown run. Then Oregon's Noah Whittington will return the kickoff to the house, but I think he dropped that ball short of the goal line. I do think he dropped that ball short of the goal line. They said he didn't. Didn't matter anyway because his man picked it up. Oregon, I want to say one of the guys on the front five with a kick return, he picked the ball up anyway. So it's not like it would have been a change of possession or a touchback. It would still been a touchdown, just wondering what the Noah Whittington. But I think he dropped that ball short of the goal line. Well, I don't know why people continue to drop the ball before they go on the goal line. I don't know if they think it's cool, like, oh, I'm going to run and drop the ball. That's so cool. No. What's cool is securing the ball through the pylon, handing the ball or flipping the ball to the ref. You could drop it once you like 3 or 4 yards in the end zone. It ain't cool turning the ball over trying to be cool. So hold on to that ball till you cross the goal line. But no harm, no foul. Boise State would then have the punt because Oregon gets off the field on third down, and then they kick the game-winning 24-yard field goal. As time expires, set up by Jordan James. And they win the game 37-34 at home. Now, a lot of people might be like, why were they in a dogfight with Boise State? And honestly, Boise State's a really good team, man. Boise State, I got them winning the Mountain West. They're a really good bunch. They put up a fight against UCF. They do well against Power 5 schools, man. If you remember, Oregon played Boise State. Now, granted, this was like 07, 06, but they lost. They lost to Boise State before, too. So, Boise State is a really good Group of 5 school, and that's why I keep imploring you guys to watch Group of 5 football, man. It's some really good football out there that you miss because I ain't never heard of that school, so I don't want to watch it. You miss some pretty good football doing that. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. But that's enough about the games. Oh, hold on. Let's talk about some upsets, and then we'll get into poll talk. Really, I talked about one, Kansas at Illinois. We got to talk about Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois. I'm not going to put the score up, nothing like that. I hate Notre Dame. I would put the score up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to talk about it briefly. When I say briefly, I mean real briefly. It's midnight. Notre Dame cannot get it going on offense. They scored the one drive and a touchdown on the one drive, and that was it. Northern Illinois was able to stifle them. They were actually able to move the ball on Notre Dame, which was really confusing to me. They were able to move the ball a little bit too much. They were doing better than Texas A&M, to be honest. But they stifled them on defense, was able to move the ball, and they got stops when they needed them. Even when it came to the end of the game, they didn't allow Notre Dame to get in realistic field goal position. They had to kick a 60-something yarder to win it. They missed it, and that was the ball game. Shout out to Northern Illinois. Shout out to the head coach. He's been there for a while. He was there when they won the MAC. And when they beat I'm going off script. Y'all don't understand how much I go off script in this podcast. I go off script a lot. So I might stifle my own self. But I want to say they did beat Coastal Carolina in the Cure Bowl in 2022. No, they lost. They lost 47-41 to Cure Bowl, but it was a good game. And it was in 2021. It was the 2020-2021 season. But I want to say they won the MAC championship that year. Let's see, 2021 MAC championship. I can't remember who they played, but I want to say Northern Illinois won. Thomas Hammock beat Kent State to win the MAC championship in 2021. Yes, it was. I was right. Because I remember Rocky Lombardi got him one. He got him one. Because Rocky Lombardi was the quarterback for Northern Illinois. And he got him a MAC championship. I do remember that. So shout out to Thomas Hammock, man. He's been there for a while. I like him as a head coach. He does his thing, and he got a great upset. Now, that's going to segue into poll talk because I don't think that they should be ranked. I know that they are ranked 25th in the country. Although they did beat a ranked Notre Dame team, I don't think they should be ranked. I just don't. I'm sorry. One win does not get you ranked. Boston College is 24th. I don't think they should be ranked either, but I'm not as mad as Boston College. But this is what I'll say. We just saw with Georgia Tech. They beat an overrated, overranked Florida State school. Before y'all say anything, I had Florida State going 6-6. So this is not hindsight. I had them going 6-6. Overranked to overrated. They beat them, get 23rd, lose to Syracuse. Unranked now. Boston College is ranked because they beat an overranked and overrated Florida State team, and then they beat Duquesne. Duquesne has nothing to do with them being ranked 24th in the country. It's the quote-unquote top 10 win versus Florida State. And I get this early, so people's resumes aren't as good, but that's just an overrated win, in my opinion. Now, Northern Illinois. I think Notre Dame was overrated. The only reason why I had them going undefeated was because how sweet I thought their schedule was. I thought their only test would be Texas A&M. If they get past that test, that's it. They're undefeated. And they got past the test. And then lost to Northern Illinois to show that they're not as good as what people want. I think the loss to Northern Illinois is so bad for Notre Dame, it knocks them out the playoffs. I think that loss knocks them out the playoffs. You cannot lose to Northern Illinois, and in my opinion, be an independent with an easy schedule and make the playoffs. That's just preposterous to me. They dropped to 18, but we'll go from 1 to 10. So 1 is Georgia. I completely agree. 2 is Texas. I'm not mad at them leaping Ohio State. I'm not. Some people who say no, but they got a better resume win against Michigan. 3 is Ohio State. 4 is Alabama. 5 is Ole Miss. I am not mad. 6, Mizzou. 7, Tennessee. Did not see Penn State not dropping. How does Oregon drop by playing a close game to Boise State, but Penn State stays at 8, and they barely squeaked out a win against Bowling Green? I would take Boise State by 10 points against Bowling Green. Neutral site, home or on the road. I'm sorry. Penn State should have failed. Oregon 9, Miami 10. I think Miami should be 8. Oregon should be 9, and Penn State should be 10. That's just me. USC 11, Utah at 12. I'm fine with that because Utah might not have Cam Rising. 13, Oklahoma State. That win should not move them up 3 spaces. I'm sorry. K-State at 14. I would put K-State in front of Oklahoma State. I would have K-State at 13, Oklahoma State at 14, and Oklahoma at 15. Oklahoma actually probably – I think Oklahoma should have dropped after beating Houston by 4 points. Houston got dominated by UNLV. LSU at 16, Michigan at 17, which I think Michigan, they got stomped, but they dropped 7 spots, but they lost to the 3rd ranked team in the country. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm not a Michigan fan, so you know. And Notre Dame drops from 5 to 18. Louisville moves up from 22 to 19. Arizona should have dropped some spaces for barely being Northern Arizona, but they stay at 20. I would put Iowa State in front of Arizona right now. Clemson is cool at 22. Nebraska at 23 is fine. I low-key might put no, that's fine. Boston College is 24th, and Northern Illinois is 25th. Northern Illinois, again, should not be ranked. Boston College, I don't think they should be ranked either, but I'm more fine with Boston College being in there than Northern Illinois. So other teams that receive a vote, I think Illinois should be ranked over Northern Illinois. Boise State receive votes. I don't think they should be ranked. 1-1. I think a 2-0 team should. Syracuse is the team that I think should be ranked. Syracuse should be ranked. They had 63 votes, but I think they should be ranked over Northern Illinois. I think Syracuse could be 25th. I think Illinois could be 24th. That's just my 24 and 25. Some other teams: Boise State 77, Texas A&M 66, Memphis 38. Washington 27, Iowa 24, Kansas 22, Vanderbilt 18. These are votes, by the way. These are votes that they got.
Vanderbilt 18, South Carolina 10, Liberty 9, Wisconsin 9, UNLV 7, North Carolina 7, Cal 3, BYU 2, TCU 1, and UCF 1. Kind of crazy Michigan State got no votes. The reason why I say that is because if TCU can get a vote, barely beating Stanford, and then I can't even remember who they played last week, but MSU can at least get one. But, yeah, I don't think Northern Illinois should be ranked. I think it should be 24 Syracuse, 25 Illinois. But that's just me. But now to the segment that I've been waiting for and you all been waiting for, because we got to get into our major performances. And I got a long list. I got like 15, 16. I got first starting major. We're going to do the cheering this time. Let's cheer this time. We got first on the major performance list, Nick Marsh. Oh, why am I? Here we go. Wide receiver, MSU, 8 catches, 194 yards, and a touchdown. Ty Felton, wide receiver, Maryland, 11 catches, 152, and a touchdown. I ain't no hater, man. He did his thing. Gunnar Helm, 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Texas tight end. Now, you might be thinking, how is under 100 yards a major performance, Carl? He's a tight end who almost had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. No, in my bad. And a touchdown against a top defense in the country. And 7 catches. He was balling. So I gave him his props at tight end. DeQuindon Jackson, running back, Arkansas, 24 carries, 149 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Arkansas in a losing effort. But he did his thing. Kyle McCord, quarterback, Syracuse, 32 of 46, 381 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Just looked magnificent. Desmond Reed, running back for Pitt, 19 carries, 148 yards, 6 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown through the air. Kanata Mumfield, wide receiver for Pitt, 5 catches, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Caleb Johnson, running back for Iowa, 25 carries, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the running back from Iowa. Chris Dawn Jr., wide receiver for Texas State, 5 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Xavier Scott, safety for Illinois, or DB, we'll say DB. 8 total tackles, 8 solos, a sack, a forced fumble, 2 picks, and a touchdown for the Illinois. Why am I blanking on what they are? Fighting Illini. Malachi Fields, wide receiver, 11 catches, 148 yards for UVA. Donovan Green, wide receiver for Wake Forest, 11 catches, 166 yards, and a touchdown. Dylan Sampson, running back for Tennessee, 20 carries, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Ashton Genty, running back for Boise State, 25 carries, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. Almost back-to-back 200-yard games, which is silly. And then John Mader, running back, Washington State, 21 carries, 197 yards, and a touchdown. Last but certainly not least, Cam Scatterbo, running back, Arizona State, 33 carries for 262 yards. Those are your major performances for week 2. And with that being said, it's time for me to sign out. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I will be back tomorrow around, keyword is around, 9 o'clock to talk about week 3 previews for the weekday. We got a game Thursday, 2 games Friday. I will be talking about all 3 tomorrow. I can't wait because me talking about it means we right there for it. And my Texas State boys are a part of it. Y'all know I am rooting for Texas State to win the Sun Belt. So I'm so excited to talk about that. Going to be another great week of college football, hopefully. But I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.